Hi, I'm James Shillinglaw, and I'm here with Fred Lounsbury, who's CEO of the Nassau-Paradise Island Promotion Board. And we're going to talk to Fred a little bit about what's going on in the Bahamas, in Nassau-Paradise Island specifically. We hear a lot of stuff, and there have been a lot of changes over the past year because of COVID-19. And you're going to find out about all that and more on Insider Travel Report. Now, first of all, Fred, how are you and where are you? I know it looks like you're in the Bahamas, and I would like to think.
Well, can't you hear the lapping of the water? No, I'm actually, we're working remotely. I'm actually in Orlando. Our office is in Fort Lauderdale. I go back and forth, but we're working remotely like most of the travel industry is right now for a while. But we're starting to move towards more in-office time and getting over to the destination to...
Yeah, you told me you've been over there a few times already to check it out and see where it is. And so I guess right now, what is the current status of the Bahamas in terms of COVID-19? And can Americans travel there and under what protocols do they?
Okay. Well, first of all, Americans always could, in spite of a lot of the reports that get a little mixed up. It was never... Americans could always travel. Obviously changes in protocols and entry requirements. The destination opened in July, and then some issues required it shut back down. We had, we kind of went through our peak and curve in early fall.
Mm-hmm. As we did here, really.
As we did, as everybody kind of went through. And right now, so the destination reopened November 1. And by reopen, I mean with reduced protocols.
Right.
And where we are today, and the hotels have opened, kind of staggered opening. Right now, everybody is open. SLS at Baha Mar will open March 4th. The Rosewood will open March 4th, and Sandals will open on March 31st. So those are the final three. Everybody else is open. Atlantis, Baha Mar, the Grand Hyatt. Melia, I don't know if you have heard the news, but Melia is going to close for 2 years, the all-inclusive. They have, they're going to go through, they had announced a while back a major remodel, and I think they've decided they're just going to close it and remodel, do a major renovation. So the Amelia will not be with us for a while, but everybody else is.
But it's good that everybody else is, and you said, Sandals is coming back online, the last of the few.
Right.
I have been to Baha Mar, and you have that triumvirate of hotels within a hotel.
Right.
The Grand Hyatt and the SLS, and obviously
casinos are all open at Atlantis and Baha Mar. So, we're minus a lot of cruise ships, as most places.
Yeah, well, that's a big thing, and I know that is a big source of revenue for the islands and for Nassau in particular, having been to innumerable. In fact, I think one of the last cruises I took last year, we did stop in Nassau, Caribbean. But I guess one of the things I wanted to ask you is so in terms of protocols, Americans need a test to get in.
Right. So the protocol is you need a PCR swab test,
right,
which is the gold standard. That's the they've gotten a little easier on the nose swab. They don't go quite up as far, but a PCR test for everyone 10 and under are exempt from that, children.
Okay.
So
right.
Over 10, 5 days prior to your arrival. And so the recommendation is get your test, and then immediately you apply for a Bahamas health visa.
Okay.
You have to go online, fill out information, upload your negative test. So once you get your negative result, you upload the test. You also scan your passport, answer a few questions. Then you will receive your, I guess it's a green light that you're good to go. And that's what you need to show the airlines going in. So now when I did it in January, I got it literally within minutes.
Okay.
So the process, and they say to allow up to 72 hours, but you have to do it right away. Get your test, same day, go through that process, and you're good to go.
Yeah.
Then when you
Yeah. No quarantine though after that.
No, absolutely not. No quarantine, and no, there is not. And so when you arrive, obviously you wear a mask and go through customs and immigration just as you always do. Now, when you arrive, some hotels, actually Atlantis or Baha Mar, as an example, is giving everybody a rapid test when they arrive.
Oh, so they're doing it again on the. Okay.
Strictly on their own. So that varies among hotels. They're just being super, super safe.
Sure.
And so then you enjoy your vacation. If you are staying more than 5 days, on day 5, in other words, if you're staying 4 nights, you're leaving on day 5, you go. But you have to get the 72-hour, the new U.S. requirement.
Come back, which is either antigen or PCR, if I might.
Right. And so the rapid test is, many of the hotels are doing it at the hotel. Baha Mar, Atlantis, Comfort Suites. The majority are, or they've got a situation set up so you can get it easily.
Okay.
Many of the hotels are including it free. They're not charging for 2 per room.
That's great.
And worst case scenario, they do it at the airport as well. There's a setup there where you can actually do it there. Just get there a little early, allow 30, 45 minutes to do it.
Yeah.
Don't encourage that, but do it at the hotel at least 72 hours in advance. Now, if you're staying more than 4 nights or 5 nights, you're required to do a second one in the Bahamas. And same thing, the rapid test. If you're staying, as an example, if you were staying 6 nights, then you could use that test as your departure test for the United States. So that's it. It's a number of the hotels have kind of set up, they have their own protocols, but it seems to be working pretty well. We're seeing business return.
Well, that would be my next question. As you're seeing, I was going to ask about, how quickly you get through the airport, both, entry and departing, real quick. But how is it? Are you seeing some signs of, I don't want to call it the proverbial green shoots of good business coming back now?
I think we expected it to be going a little faster by now, honestly. We were kind of looking at President's Day, but right now, and talking to the airlines, the bookings are really spring and summer. March every month is better than the previous month,
right?
But there hasn't been this hockey stick.
Yeah, well, nobody seems to think, nowadays there's going to be a gradual recovery. But it's nice to hear that, the Bahamas are open for business with a test. You don't have to worry about quarantine. You're doing better than my home state here in New York, where they put in quarantines if you come back from Florida. So there you go. It's a little bit different.
No, that's true. New York, the states do their own thing.
Yeah, so it's it. I know Florida is really pretty open. But now let's talk a little bit about, are there any new resorts coming online in the near term? I believe you have
Margaritaville Resort
right?
is, they are in soft opening right now.
Oh, wow.
They'll be doing a grand opening later, but they are open. My next trip over, I'm going to go. I was there during the construction phase, but what I saw, it's going to be it's spectacular. They are really, the ones that are being built outside of U.S. are really pretty impressive. I know there's another one in Cancun, which I keep meaning to go to. And I didn't realize there was, to be honest with you, I didn't realize there was one in Bahamas, but it sounds like, and where is that located, by the way? It is adjacent to the Hilton downtown.
Oh, that close. Okay.
It is that close, and it is very deceptive and surprising once you kind of go into the complex that, that beautiful beach. There's going to be a small water park, restaurants. I mean, it is a lot more space than you ever imagined.
Yeah, I know. I mean, that old Colonial Hilton there, I've actually interviewed the minister of the Bahamas, tourism minister of the Bahamas there once years ago. And I just can't, and I pass by that all the time. It's going to be interesting to see what they did with that space. It
is. And the Hilton they've done a lot of renovation, and it is a historic hotel for the Bahamas.
Oh no, no, absolutely, it's a beautiful hotel. I have stayed there.
It's a beautiful hotel, and they do a good job there. But it is right adjacent to that, and there's a 900 ramp. There's a big parking ramp right there, and there are two sides to it. There are condos, so you can, and they're all it's called One Particular Harbor. Mm-hmm. These are all Jimmy Buffett names and songs. So there you can kitchen, the whole thing. They are gorgeous. They are phenomenal. And the hotel, it's total of about 200 and I want to say 80 or 90 rooms total. So it's not small, it's not huge, but very, very well done.
No, I really, I'd have to come over and take a look at it. I'll have to talk to them. That's Charisma? Is the backer on that one, or is that somebody else?
I am not 100%.
Yeah, I gotta figure it out, because are doing the one in Cancun. But just a quick story. The last time I remember talking about Jimmy Buffett and Margaritaville was at the opening of your former post at Universal at Margaritaville, and we were at the opening at that night, and we were out a little late. And I remember walking over, and suddenly I heard, Wasting Away in Margaritaville. And I said, wait a minute, that's not a recording. That is Jimmy Buffett live. So we went in and listened to him a little bit. So that was.
He frequently did that.
Yeah.
He would show up, and, that was when I worked at Universal, we'd kind of get the buzz that he might be there tonight.
Yeah.
And you talk about a private concert, it was pretty phenomenal. But
maybe he'll show up at the over at Margaritaville.
There is a rumor to that.
That would be great. Well, let's time it to be there together. We'll go.
All right, that's a deal. And I think give it the summer. I think he'll show up.
He'll get there. Yeah,
he'll get there.
Yeah, one of the things I did want to talk to you about is the other major attractions and things to do. Is pretty much everything else open?
Yeah, Stewart's Coves is open. That's the snorkel and skin diving. That is the one of the main vendors. Sandy Toes, go out to Rose Island, the excursion. Right. I got a list here. Great Cliff, all of those experiences, the Humidor and Chocolate Factory and all their things. Of course,
I have been to Great Cliff and had a wonderful dinner there, and then also explored the famous wine cellar.
And the owner's usually there, Enrico. And boy,
I have met him. I know his daughter.
A tour from him.
Yeah, he's great. We had a wonderful time there, and it is the most extraordinarily wine cellar around, because it's like your basement. A few basements together that you just squirreled away all the wine down there in every little nook and cranny. So it's pretty.
Oh, amazing. I know.
It's an attraction. If you can get a tour there, it's really worth it.
They love to give tours. They love to give tours.
So that's all open, right? So
that's open. A lot of excursions. The zoo. The major things people want, obviously, Aquaventure at Atlantis, the water park.
Yeah, the water parks. Yeah.
There'll be a new water park opening at Baha Mar this summer.
Oh, finally, yes. That was, I know I saw the construction for that, yeah.
That is on schedule, I understand, for the summer period. So, no, there's plenty to do. That is not, now, I will say downtown is, given that the cruise business has not returned.
That was my next question about shopping and all the stores that you have down there. Are they sort of open or not?
It's sparse. It is sparse, honestly.
Until the cruise ships keep coming back, although obviously the first place they may go is the Bahamas, because that's close.
Yeah.
And I think they're planning on that. We'll see when it happens. We're hoping at this stage, it looks like the first thing will be in June. I'm betting more like July, but we'll see what happens.
I vote with you. I think it's going to be later than earlier. I think they're just being, and then I think when they do open, they will do it right. I'm pretty confident they're using this time to figure it out. So,
yeah, well, they'll be okay, I'm sure. Although I was supposed to be on one of the first cruises back in the Caribbean, but it got canceled because of COVID. We'll see what happens now. Now, just one thing I forgot to ask: are the resorts operating under occupancy limits at all?
They're not. That has not been an issue at this point. They've opened just certain sections, but I mean, honestly, they have plenty of space. Let's put it that way.
Absolutely.
The occupancy has been been pretty, I wouldn't say low, but it's just been slowly building. So
well, it's a great time to go if you can get there. You got you got a lot of the resort to yourself. I mean, why not?
It is. I think
but it'll pick up. If I have been to Mexico since COVID, and they were operating at occupancy levels that were 60%. They've risen to in some case 75%, and Americans are going. So I think once they figure out they can go to the Bahamas, which is even easier to get to, they will be back in droves. But we'll see what happens, especially from down your way.
Well, I think there's been a lot of there have been a lot of false rumors out there about quarantine and that. And I think now it's kind of settled down, and okay, now I know what's going to happen. You don't have to quarantine when you get there. You don't have to quarantine when you get back unless your state requires that.
Right.
And some do, some don't.
Yeah, well, I every time I do here, I got to do 14 days, which is a bit of a. So, and New York is probably a big market for the Bahamas, unfortunately.
Well, the irony is, if you ask, what our best measure right now is in our website activity, and it continues to go up. In fact, last week it was up 18% over the prior week. Granted, it's a small base, nothing like it used to be, but the number one markets are New York, Florida, Philadelphia, Chicago, and Texas. Wow. So the major markets are still interested.
Well, if you do get a test in New York, you can cut your quarantine down to 4 days. So
you can test out,
which is what I test out, which is actually what I'm waiting for right now after my most recent trip. I'm supposed to get it. Excuse me, I got to check my email because I think it must be there. It's got to be. Then I'm pretty much done. I'm okay. But one of the other things I want to obviously have to get there. And how is air service? Has it largely returned?
Well, we've got nonstop service from 22 markets. We're the Bahamas has always had great air connectivity. In fact, let's see, actually some of the United is upgrading its Houston flights.
Okay.
Obviously, with Texas, as they see demand, they are adding seats, but we have nonstops from 22 markets.
Right.
And right now we have, for the month of February, about 1,700 seats a day. And as that bumps up in March to about 2,500 seats a day.
That's great.
Plenty of flights from Miami, connecting flights, and you connect from everywhere. Atlanta, Delta runs at least one a day, some days two. Mm-hmm. So we are blessed with great airline partners. And our proximity helps. We are.
Oh yeah, no, and it's such an easy destination to get to, and I love sometimes there's some airlines like Delta, and I think JetBlue have direct flights to the Bahamas, and that's really
right. Delta from JFK, JetBlue.
Right.
And really JetBlue and United out of Newark.
Okay.
And so really all airports are covered.
That's great. Yeah. Well, you may be getting a little business from Texas, I understand, very soon, because I think they're probably sick of what they've never had before, is a brutal winter and no power. So
my daughter lives in Houston, and they kept their power, but they have no water today.
Well, you got to make a choice, right? Electric or water, and plus the freezing everything, which they're not quite used to down there. But I think that in the old days when you had weather like that, people said, "Let's go to the Bahamas." So that's where you're at. But now, what would you tell travel advisors right now about sort of the safety of their clients in Nassau-Paradise Island and the Bahamas overall, and what should they be telling their clients about vacationing in the Bahamas again?
Well, I think the good news is the COVID, there's several things. That our cases are down to single digits a day, some days zero. And that was really, obviously it peaked in the fall, and that has come down. The hotels do employee testing, very rigorous testing programs. My advice and the testing, you look at the hotels, Atlantis has really created a bubble. So you go inside and they maintain that environment. I think that the recommendation would be it's probably as safe or safer than anywhere right now. Nothing's 100%, but every protocol you could possibly think of is in place. All of those attractions I listed, and some I didn't mention, they go through a clean and pristine program.
Sure.
Through the Ministry of Tourism. So they go through the protocols as well, and they're not really, listed or able to they're able to open, but you check for that symbol. It's on our website, on the attractions, on the hotels, and it's like anywhere. Be cautious. Wear your mask. Wash your hands. Bring your sanitizer. There's sanitizer everywhere, as you find in the U.S. And I think the Bahamas has the healthcare system is very good.
Sure.
So it's I think we're as safe as anywhere at this point.
That's great, and I'm looking forward to getting back. I've been to the Bahamas, specifically Nassau-Paradise Island. I feel some days I grew up there. I went to so many resort openings, including the original resort opening in Atlantis when the Royal Towers opened. One of the best openings I ever went to. I was in Baha Mar, which is another large resort. I've been to some of the boutique resorts. It is a marvelous place to vacation, and now that it really is reopened, I think that's a great place for certainly you, our viewers, to book your clients. Now, is there anything else you want to tell our 85,000 travel advisors? And also give us a place they can go to get more information, your website, about what's going on.
Well, no, I just think as you look at the protocols, some of them are a little tougher than other destinations. The PCR test is the gold standard.
Yeah.
Within 5 days. Some places they give you 10 days. So I think it's, as you look at it and as they compare for their clients, where to go, in the early days, we kind of battled with the Ministry of Health, but the Ministry of Health calls the shots on this. And it's all about safety for not only residents, but visitors. So I think as they follow those protocols, it is a great vacation. Now, the one thing, when I went in January, the place it is beautiful. It looks just like this background. It is. I've done this for 15 years in the Bahamas, and every time I go, I stare at that water because it's just spectacular. It's a phenomenal place to go. I think the activities, those things, it's not that you're going to be stuck in a hotel. Mm-hmm. I've looked at some destinations, and actually my wife and I were going to go, and I said, well, wait a minute, let me read here. I can't leave the hotel.
Yeah.
And granted, you can leave, but when you have mega resorts like Atlantis and Baha Mar, you probably don't want to leave because there's so much to do. And so I think for families, for everyone, as always, we've had something that kind of appeals to everyone, whether you're families, adults. SLS will open in a couple of weeks. That's more of a South Beach kind of vibe place. Great restaurants. So I think, Nassau-ParadiseIsland.com is our website. Bahamas.com is also the ministry site. We connect to their site. They connect to ours. But if you want to look specifically at Nassau Paradise Island hotels, go to NassauParadiseIsland.com.
Right.
And as you go through what do I have to do on the testing and that, we connect right to the ministry site for all that information and the health visa and that. So.
No, that's great. It sounds like it's a pretty easy process. But listen, Fred, I want to thank you for taking the time to talk to us about your wonderful destination. And usually we see each other at trade shows around the country and hear all about the updates on Nassau Paradise Island. We're on Zoom now, but hopefully soon we'll get together and we'll get those updates in person. And like I said, we got to make a date when if we hear Jimmy Buffett's at Margaritaville, it's like,
I will. You're on the list, man.
You and I got to fly.
You're on the list.
You got it. Listen,
you're on the list.
Absolutely. I'm James Schillinglaw, and this is Insider Travel Report.